Just Cheesy the Podcast, presented by Just Cheesy Productions.
Hi there, I'm your host, Fondue.
Hi, Cheesy.
In this week's episode, we're talking all about big game.
Whoa.
We're going to learn about cheeses from moose,
Really?
water buffalo, and reindeer.
Holy cow.
We're going to discuss a very scary cheese recall.
Oh no.
And we're going to talk about the big game.
Super.
We're talking cheese consumption, snacks, and ads.
Ooh.
And of course, we tell a very cheesy joke.
Yeah, jokes.
Stay tuned for episode 117, Big Game, on Just Cheesy the Podcast. All week I've been thinking, what big game animals can be milked for cheese?
Yeah.
Now, in our very first episode of Just Cheesy the Podcast, we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about all the animals that could be milked.
Yeah, we did.
When you go back to listen to the episode, just remember it was our very first, and we've learned a few tricks since then.
Yeah, we did.
We also learned that moose is one of the big game animals that can be milked for cheese.
Yeah.
According to GoUpstate.com, moose cheese is made in Sweden,
Ooh.
and it's very expensive.
Oh, yeah, it is.
According to this website, it goes for about $500 a pound.
Whoa.
The cheese is made of the milk from 3 moose cows, and they say here, and this was back in 2004,
Okay.
the cows are named Gullen,
Oh.
Helga, and Juna.
Oh, boy.
According to tastingtable.com, they make 4 different varieties.
Ooh.
A soft white mold variety,
Okay.
a creamy blue cheese, a dried blue cheese, and feta.
Yum.
And according to cheese.com, this has a 12% fat content,
Ooh.
and the feta is pretty much their best seller.
Ooh.
They say it's tangy and creamy.
Yum.
It's smooth, slightly acidic, it's stored in neutral vegetable oil, and it has a 6-month shelf life.
Ooh, yum.
And we know about moose, but what about water buffalo?
Yeah.
According to heifer.org,
Heifer.
yeah, heifer.org, water buffalo is one of the biggest bovines in the world. They can
Whoa.
weigh up to 2,600 pounds
Holy cow.
with a height of 6 feet.
Holy cow.
They say the females are typically a bit smaller at 1,500 pounds.
No way.
They say both genders are equally formidable, and they have a nickname, the living tractors of the East.
Whoa.
And of course, in order to milk a buffalo, it's more than likely the domesticated version. They say they're
Yeah.
gentle enough to be milked and they can even be ridden.
Whoa.
But wild buffalo are notoriously aggressive,
Oh.
and they're not afraid to face off with tigers
What?
and lions.
Whoa.
And they even say here that they can reach speeds of up to 30 miles an hour.
Holy buffalo.
Water buffalo milk is not popular in America,
Nope.
but it is commonly used to make Italian-style mozzarella cheeses.
Ooh.
According to this article, it contains a higher level of protein, calcium, and iron,
Whoa.
and it has less cholesterol and lactose.
Whoa.
According to thecheeseshark.com, there are lots of different exotic cheeses.
There are?
They also talk about the moose and water buffalo,
Okay.
yak cheese, camel cheese, horse cheese,
Whoa.
and the next one we're going to talk about, reindeer cheese.
Reindeer.
They say here it's sort of like cream cheese, and
Ooh.
it's called Renost.
Ooh.
According to FondazoniSlowFood.com, reindeer cheese is a traditional product of the Sami. They're an indigenous people of northern Scandinavia.
Wow.
And reindeer are actually one of their main resources.
Ooh.
They typically use all parts of the reindeer. They preserve the meat and the milk.
Okay.
They make coats from the fur and tools from the bones and antlers.
Wow.
Large-scale production is pretty difficult
Oh, yeah.
because the female reindeer produce very little milk.
Wow.
The cheese is usually made into a rounded flat shape and decorated.
Okay.
They say it was even used instead of cream in coffee.
Ooh.
And believe it or not, Amazon.com actually has some smoked reindeer cheese spread.
Of
You can
course.
get a 3-pack of the tubes for $40.90.
Wow.
Fall Brent Rock Renost, I know,
What?
is not a sponsor.
No, they won't be.
And you're right, they probably won't be.
Nope.
But if they were, their ad would go right here. Have you ever wanted to listen to the web?
Yeah,
Well, Newsly makes that possible.
they do.
They're an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android.
Super app.
You can listen to trending articles on the web on topics that you choose and get them read to you in a natural human voice.
What kind of topics?
Sports,
Cheese?
tech, business, science.
Cheese?
I'm sure there's even cheese.
Yay!
They even have an entire section for podcasts.
Are we there?
Of course we are.
Ooh.
It's one of my new favorite podcast apps. They even have digital radio.
Holy cow.
Just go to www.newsly.me to download it free.
Whoa.
Or use the link in the description. If you use the promo code CHEESY, that'll get you 1 month free premium subscription.
Yay, Newsly.
Now, back to the podcast. It's time for my favorite segment.
This week in cheese.
This week we've got a couple of different recalls.
Uh-oh.
According to WDBJ7.com, the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services has recalled some cheese.
Uh-oh.
It's from Country Corner Dairy.
Why?
They're doing this recall because of a lack of proper pasteurization.
Oh, no.
In a second recall, the FDA has gotten involved.
Uh-oh.
There's an outbreak of listeria.
Again?
The manufacturer is Rizzo Lopez Foods,
Okay.
and they make products that are sold nationwide.
Ooh.
We've got links in our show notes in case you're interested if your favorite cheese may be impacted.
Yeah.
Did you ever wonder how much cheese gets eaten during a Super Bowl?
I did.
According to dairyherd.com, back in 2021, the projection was that Americans would consume over 20 million pounds of cheese.
Holy cow.
They say that would equate to 1.7 million wheels of cheese.
Whoa.
And that would be enough to fill the entire playing field of Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay.
Whoa.
The PR Newswire has some information about this year's consumption of cheese.
Okay.
On sg.finance.yahoo.com. According to the article, Wisconsin makes about 600 different types, styles, and varieties of cheese.
Wow.
And they say that the combination, if you were to have 3 different cheese on a cheese board, would equate to 214 million different cheese board options.
Holy cow.
With 126 million households in the U.S., no 2 game day spreads need to be the same.
Wow.
The New York Times says that 4 million pounds of Velveeta will get consumed this week.
Wow.
And that 2 million Domino's pizzas will be sold.
Holy cow.
FoodNetwork.com created a map for different dips for the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Their map shows spinach and artichoke,
Ooh.
blue cheese, salsa, ranch,
Yum.
cheese, and guacamole.
Okay.
Google created a map, Game Day Dips.
Ooh.
According to USAToday.com, there are some favorites.
Okay.
There's buffalo chicken dip.
Ooh.
There's beer dip,
Ooh.
chili cheese dip,
Ooh.
French dip,
Mm.
jalapeno popper dip.
Yum.
It's broken down by the most popular dip by state.
Okay.
I happen to live in a buffalo chicken dip state.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I've made some of that myself.
Yep.
On franksredhot.com, they've got a recipe.
Ooh.
You take 2 cups of shredded cooked chicken,
Yum.
a package of cream cheese,
Of course.
a half a cup of Frank's,
Oh.
a half a cup of ranch,
Ooh.
and a half a cup of blue cheese crumbles.
Whoa.
You preheat the oven to 350, you mix all the ingredients in a bowl,
Okay.
and you put it into a 1-quart baking dish. Bake for 20 minutes or until it's heated through.
Ooh.
You sprinkle it with green onions, and you serve with chips.
Yum.
It is delicious.
Yeah, it is.
According to the New York Post, Cheetos is going to have a themed chapel in Las Vegas.
Whoa.
Luxor's Pyramid has been retrofitted as a gigantic Dorito, and
Oh, my.
Tostitos will operate a pop-up cafe.
Neat.
And no Super Bowl would be complete without some ads.
Oh, yeah.
And this year, there's an ad coming, and I want you all to be aware because there is a pretty good-sized sweepstakes. According to DoorDash-all-the-ads.com,
So many dashes.
they're going to be putting out a promo code.
Ooh.
You put it into their website, and you can win all of the stuff from all of the ads.
All of it.
So cars and chicken wings and snacks. So be on the lookout for that during the big game.
I'm ready for a joke, Fondue.
Okay, how do you know when cheese has scored a touchdown?
I have no idea.
You check the charcuterie board. Get it?
Wow.
The charcuterie board?
It was super.
Oh, it was definitely super and a little bit cheesy. Thanks for listening to episode 117, Big Game.
Super.
Thanks for listening and being part of our very exciting cheese journey.
Thank you.
We're about to hit 20,000 listens, and that's because of you.
Stay cheesy, everybody.